Hello and welcome to Education Dialogue here on 92.3 Inspiration FM. The program is brought to you by Edugist and is proudly sponsored by Skilled Integrated Services. I am Smart Uzichi, but if you call me Captain Smart, you'll be educationally correct. Today, we're exploring a pivotal topic, standardizing STEM education in Nigeria. The acronym STEM, that's STEM, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics, is at the heart of innovation and economic growth. But access to quality STEM education remains uneven across the country. From inadequate resources in rural areas to the need for better trained teachers and unified curricula, challenges abound. So, how can we ensure every Nigerian student, regardless of location, gets access to world-class STEM education? That's a question we'll be answering on today's program. So joining us today to provide insight on that is a wonderful guest of mine who is already seated calmly in the studio, an EdTech founder and advocate for STEM who is at the forefront of tackling these challenges, offering innovative solutions to standardize and elevate STEM learning in Nigeria. You meet her. I've given you a clue to whether it's a male or female. You meet my guest when we return from this very short break to kickstart the conversation here. Please do join us again.
Hello Lagos, join us every Thursday right here on Inspiration 92.3 FM from 3:30 to 4 p.m. for Education Dialogue by Edugist. On Education Dialogue, we bring together policymakers, education leaders, and parents to discuss issues, explore solutions, and drive positive change. With Edugist, education has a voice.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us now, this is Education Dialogue and it's on Inspiration 92.3 FM. It's brought to you by Edugist and powered by Skilled Integrated Services. Edugist is a newsroom and innovation lab, the leading platform for latest news and updates in education, scholarship opportunities, and cutting-edge interviews. You can visit Edugist at www.edugist.org and follow on all social media handles on X, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook to join the conversation online. And to join that, you can go on at Edugist on all social media platforms. Now to my guest. She is Titilope Adewusi, whom I'm going to be calling Titi on the program. Titi is an engineer by training, a management consultant by experience, and an educator by passion. I like that one. Titi's mission is to empower African youth with quality education through innovative technologies and community engagement. She is the co-founder of Niger Kids, an all-female founder of EdTech company committed to empowering African youth through innovative education solutions. As a co-founder of Niger Kids, an EdTech company, she aims to reduce poverty by providing affordable, gamified online learning for nursery, primary and secondary school students across Africa. Niger Kids has partnerships with major Nigerian telecom operators like MTN and Glo, enabling access to educational content via airtime. Niger Kids has received international recognition including Global Education Startup Awards, Milken Pen GSC Education Business Plan Competition, and MasterCard Foundation 2024 EdTech Fellow. Titi also co-convenes Africa's largest STEM gathering, the annual STEM Fun Fest, engaging over 4,500 children in STEM fields through hands-on activities and career talks. STEM Africa has now expanded to other African countries, Ghana, Kenya, and Rwanda. And it's time for us to make welcome our guest on the program this evening. I said I'm going to call her Titi. So let's make welcome our guest today. Titi is on the program. Good evening to you, ma'am, and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Captain Smart.
I like that. I like the way you have called us. So for that, we have to. We'll give this. I just want to give you this for what you have said now. I like that. So this is Titilope Adewusi is my guest on the program this afternoon, and we're going to have this very, very great conversation right here. How are you doing, madam?
I'm doing great, thank you.
I can see that. You're a happy teacher.
Very.
Like I said, welcome to the program. We're going to have this very interesting conversation about STEM this afternoon. So let's get straight into it. Can I start by asking you to just give us a brief overview of the current state of STEM education in Nigeria? And that's after you have actually told those who don't know what STEM is actually.
Yeah, I think it's very important that we start with that. So STEM, which is science, that's the S. T for technology, E engineering, M maths. So that's what STEM is. STEM is not coding and robotics, because only that's what a lot of parents think that STEM is. STEM is not just teaching science. No, STEM is really about teaching integratedly the subjects, the discipline. That's really what STEM is. And it's not just teaching for teaching's sake. The idea behind STEM is the fact that it equips you with employable skills.
Wow.
That's the cocoa. Employable skills. And the skills that are employable now is not what we thought back then, you're being good in physics and chemistry.
Yeah.
No, it's really being able to think. It's really being able to solve problems. It's really being able to collaborate. It's being able to communicate. So that's what STEM education is. It really promotes teaching all those things as a whole rather than one subject. So STEM education is not chemistry. Instead, STEM education would say, how will the waste age, the dumping of refuge in this place affect the social life of this? Let's talk about it. So you look at the chemistry part of it, the fact that when you drop this thing, how it affects the soil, and then you look at the social part of it. Then you can calculate the level of the waste dropped by each person. So it brings everything together with the main objective of making you think critically, solve problems, because bottom line is for you to be able to be equipped with employable skills. And Captain Smart, you can see that what we need now, I'm sure if I tell you who do you need, you just need a smart guy.
Yeah.
Captain Smart.
Regardless the educational qualification.
A smart,
the skills, smart skilled guy.
Smart. Someone that, can think. When there's new technology, the person can think, and quickly get on with it. And that's what STEM education is really starting. So when Nigeria is...
This one you're clearing your throat. There's problem.
So Nigeria currently doesn't really actively promote STEM education.
That's very sad.
We don't yet. We have things that are scattered but not integrated. That's what it is. There's been a start. I have been in government meetings with various, sector holders that they are planning, looking at STEM, realizing how important it is, and they are trying to start. But when it comes to standardizing, I want to just throw out some numbers there so we understand what standardizing means. Standardizing means what majority is. So it's not what happened in the private schools. In Nigeria, we have 24 million children in public primary schools and only 8 million in private primary schools. So when we talk about standardizing, if the private schools are doing it, that's not the standard, right? If you look at secondary school, we have about 5.8 million in public secondary schools and maybe 1.8 in private secondary schools. So the standard has to be driven by government.
Yeah.
Just to put it in perspective, because a standard means that's what majority do. So we don't have anything standard yet. That's where we are. There's been works, but it's not moved fast enough, and it's not in the key places that it needs to be, which is in the public school system.
Wow, that's scary, particularly your last explanation. But maybe there's hope in the future. Let's just be going. We'll get there. So, Titi, where do you see the biggest gaps in access and also in quality? Because it's one thing for it to be available and another thing altogether for you to measure the quality that is coming.
I think the biggest gap is in the framework that anything will sit upon, which it means the policy, the curriculum. That's really where the biggest gap is. So if I look at the thing my son is learning, it's the same thing I learned. I don't want to say how many years ago. Meanwhile, the world has changed. So the curriculum itself hasn't yet implemented that thing where it's focused on STEM, problem solving, practical day-to-day life, which is what really STEM education promotes. So I think the curriculum is the first thing. If we can infuse it even in a little level, starting by one thing or two things, that will be the major gap. So can they look at the curriculum and say, how do we incorporate it? When we do the curriculum, they will have to talk about the implementation.
Yeah.
That one is another. But I would say that for it to be standardized, it has to start with your defining it, right? What is it? And that for me is the biggest gap. The next gap will be to then train the people to be able to use the standard. If you're going to do standard when nobody's happy, you're on your own. So I think the next thing would then to be to train the people, not only the teachers in the public school system, even train the people in the government, the people that are the enforcers. When we come to BEC, when we talk to JAM, the people on that
they're more in number
value system. It has to, because if you train me and you don't test me for it, you don't miss now. So there's JAM there. There are various people that are part of it, even at our university system. So we have a lot more people coming out that don't have skills. And remember what STEM education really promotes, employable skills. So it's not only STEM education, people think about it for primary and secondary school, it's up to university.
Oh, wow.
So if someone is going to university, you don't know Sabi use computer. That means I'm not training for employable skills, right? Or you don't know how to create content, or you don't know how to communicate with tools. You don't Sabi use WhatsApp. You have to know something, employable skills. Can you use TikTok? Grandpa might not be able to use, but you that just came out of your university. So that's really what it is. For me, the key thing is it has to be the policy, the framework in which it sits upon, training all the people on it before we now start talking about the infrastructure, the equipment. I know that's what people think about first, but let's have the standard. Let's train the people, because they are low hanging fruits that don't require the big money of the infrastructure, the textbooks, and all those other things.
All right. Just to let you know, the listener there, you can get involved in this conversation. You can call the telephone number anytime, 0700 923 923 923. That's the number to call, 0700 923 923 923. You can also send us messages on WhatsApp, 0817 313 6193. That's 0817 313 6193. Titi, let's move quickly now. You are an EdTech founder. I want you to talk to us about this, your EdTech platform, particularly its focus on STEM education, because you're big on STEM education.
Oh, okay. So, what we do is make learning fun. That's really what we do. Because if it's boring the children, you've lost them. So we're always looking, how do we make it fun? And the beautiful thing about STEM is that it's on its own, it's fun if it's hands-on and experiential. The moment I just put a robot here and say build something, they will just ignore everything and do that. So we want to make it fun, and that's really what we do. We're also big on collaborating with different partners, because that's another thing that is the handicap in the sector. Everybody wants to be their local champion. So those are the two things we kind of promote: partnering with other players in the sector and then creating something that is fun and experiential. And that's really when we said our annual STEM, event, bringing all the stakeholders. You do something in STEM. Can we work together? Let's create a amusement park for one day for the children, where they then experience it. And the moment they have a taste, then it's like you start a fire. They go back with technology, with YouTube. They go and find out more. You don't even have to wait till the teacher gets to the classroom. And that's really what we want to do, just to light a fire. And so we see children interested in it. Before they were, no, I'm not interested in it. I don't know. I don't want to do coding. I don't want to do robotics. That's what they think STEM is. But when they come and experience various aspects of it, then they now go on their own to seek the additional knowledge. Because we try to walk outside of the constraints that we have. We don't have devices, but people are on YouTube, so they can go and learn things on YouTube. I know people that have learned coding, watching YouTube videos, being online, that now have jobs. Remember what STEM education is. Let's never lose sight of that. employable skills. And with our unemployment rate being 33%, we need more youths employed. So how do we get it fun? How do we get it experiential? How do we get it online so that people can access it? That's really what we're all about.
We'll have a caller. Hello, good afternoon to you.
Hello, Captain Smart and Madam Titilope. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
My name is Ndidi, and I've been listening. Great job you are doing. You've mentioned this word youth numerous times, and I'm just wondering, is this just for the youth? The way Nigeria is now, don't you think that people that are not really youth also need that kind of skill? And what are you doing to also help them out?
Okay, thank you very much, Ndidi. You stand by. She'll provide the answer to the question. You too can join us on the telephone. 0700 923 923 923. That's the number to call. 0700 923 923 923, or send us a message on WhatsApp 0817 313 6193. You can also do a voice note and send to us to the number. We'll be glad to hear from you. So Titi, with all the numbers you reeled out, of course, it's skewed, against the public schools. The numbers are, in the negative there. Where did you now find the inspiration to tackle STEM in Nigeria? Where did you find the nerves?
Honestly, I didn't have nerves. What happened is I wanted to do it, but I don't get money. That was the first thing. You know how it is. And I met someone on social media, and she was like, "Hey, I like what you're doing. Let's talk." So social media is not over. That's what people think. And so we talked and we realized that we had the same dream. We said, you get the same dream. Oh yeah, make we talk. And that's how we now started talking. I was saying, what will it take for us to do this thing? Because it's two people, you're not as afraid as now only you.
You can share it.
You can share. Yeah, that kind of thing. And that's really how we started it. And I can't believe the first time we did it online. This year, we've done it in 5 locations. 2 in Nigeria, 1 in Lagos, 1 in Abuja. We did it in Gambia, we did it in Sierra Leone, we did it in Kenya.
Wow.
From that dream with no money. So I just want to let people know that, having dreams is valid. Go and look for someone to collaborate with. And that's what STEM education actually promotes, not doing things alone. Because everything comes together. Partnership, we are doing things in projects. So it's scary, but applying my STEM education to myself. We're able to collaborate, come up with the idea, solve the problem, just coming together. And that's what it is today. We've been able to impact so many people, thousands of children, over 12,000 children since we started with this thing because of STEM education and collaboration. I don't know whether you want me to answer into this question.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and answer, yeah.
So you know what's interesting is that this STEM education is for everybody.
You mentioned up to university level.
Not even up to
beyond.
Even the parents. When we start doing this event, parents be like, "Oh, madam, I want to learn this thing." Because we teach children all sorts of things. We're teaching them about AI tools as simple. Before ChatGPT was as popular, come and learn what is happening. That will make you better, more employable. So parents to say, "I want to learn." So we actually organize webinars for parents to teach them and expose them to these various things that we're talking about. Even when we do the event, parents have asked for a parent corner that they want to learn. So indeed, to answer your question, it's not only for children, it's for anybody. These days, learning is, we call it now continuous learning. Anybody can learn. My mother-in-law learned how to use computer when she was almost 60 something. So it just shows that anybody can learn. Just be open, just be ready, and look for the opportunities and avenues to do so.
Brilliant. So let's get back to talking EdTech now. Tell us how EdTech can help bridge these gaps that you have identified in STEM education across Nigeria, especially in our rural areas, those people who are underserved.
Thank you very much. That's a very good. That's the $1 million question that they call that one. That's the $1 million question. The wonderful thing about education and technology is that it allows you to break the barriers. It allows you to break the barriers with a little thing that is either a smartphone, a computer, a laptop, with internet. And we need to see how do we break that barriers to everyone. And that's what education technology does. Get a little technology, a little computer. It can be one laptop that doesn't need internet, and all those things are needed, and the children are all around it learning. We need to do that, but it can't be done without the devices. That's why I said that, I didn't talk about infrastructure and equipment. But the difference is that with that, you can learn anything and learn with the best of teachers. People are learning things that they're not looking for the teacher that is the local teacher available, which is what, when we do things physical. You're looking for the best teacher that can teach that thing. So that means you learn it better and faster. And that's what education technology can do. It means that village doesn't have good maths teacher, but they go learn maths well. Because you're leveraging education technology. People that have created the best content, the best minds have created the best content, and they've made it available. That's what education technology does. So I tell parents and everybody now that the fact that you don't have a good teacher, my teacher is not good, my school is not good, it's no longer an excuse. You can go and find the best teachers. Like if I want to learn like Captain Smart, I say Captain Smart will be the best person for this thing. I can go and find him now on social media, follow his content, learn. And that's really what we need to harness for the rural areas. We need to provide that initial framework that will allow that to do that. But with that, they can access the best teachers. This one doesn't know maths well, but this one, the person that knows maths well, he can give them, give them the thing, create the content, and once you create it once, it can be. You don't have to recreate it.
Yeah.
And everybody can use it. So there's savings on that, and that's really what we need to do. We need to get beyond the infrastructure challenges. See now, before now, no mobile phone. When we did this Nigeria, how many years ago? Now all of us can talk to everybody. Before all that one of big international call. Now what's up with the use call? So I'm just letting you know. Yeah. What technology has helped lead for. So imagine it in education and even in rural areas. People will be saying about you don't get phone, but now most people have phones, right? And that's really what we need. So education technology is really about that, able to leapfrog their learning once we make those little infrastructure available for them in rural areas.
Do you have questions about education or STEM education, whatever it is in the education sector, as TT is discussing here? You can put a call through to 0700 923 923 923, or you can send a message on WhatsApp very quickly, 0817 313 6193. Now, Titi, you are going to talk about this in just a minute. You talked about standardization. Tell us the main challenges to standardizing STEM education in Nigeria because of the diversity. You have mentioned it in infrastructure, there's paucity of resources there, even teacher capacity across Nigeria. I grew up knowing about TTC, teacher training colleges. I think they have disappeared. I don't see them again. So talk to us about that very quickly, like in a minute.
I think, like I said earlier on, we need to first of all have the framework. We need to get all the stakeholders together. With government, it might take a while. So for me, this is where we need, development companies and organizations to come and bring stakeholders, quickly develop the framework. Once we do that, teach the teachers and the various people, because these things, people will pick it up. And then once we teach them, we also we need to monitor and measure. That's one of the bad things. If we don't have something that we're aiming towards. So let's just say we want to raise the standard to this, and everybody knows they're working towards it. And I think lastly is to do a lot of support, scholarship, sponsorship. Countries that have a particular thing that they want to promote, you find that a lot of scholarships are open towards those areas. So if you want to promote STEM education, we also need to get that done in terms of scholarship, grant. Before you spend money on all those things, just make sure that certain things that have to do with STEM education, there's sponsorship. You see everybody go towards that side now. Fair education, we don't like that one. So I think those are some of the things that we can do, and that's what we want to see. Not only government. I want to talk to private organizations there. I want to talk to people that have money that they're about to die. They're looking for legacy. Come and implement these things in STEM education. It really is what the country needs. Remember that if there's poor education, then there's unemployment, and if there's unemployment, then there's poverty, and there's poverty, there's insecurity. That's what we are battling with now in Nigeria. We need to help create jobs, and we need to help people have the skills. STEM education is one way that can address all those problems that I just mentioned. So
with millions of children out of school in Nigeria, it can be better said than that. Now let's look at the issue of scalability here. It's not just succeeding in pilot forms. These things, they can work well, in the pilot stages, but scalability, scaling them across the country, a country like ours, can be very challenging. So what steps can be taken there to scale up these innovations in STEM education in Nigeria, again, quickly?
Honestly, it's collaboration. So this thing of scalability you talk, I'm a living witness. We started with it in Lagos in Nigeria. And then partners reached out to us. And then we did in Abuja. We did in Ghana. We did in Zambia. We did in Rwanda. We did in Kenya. Over the last 3 years, we've done in at least 7 African countries. The things that allow you to scale is that you have the framework, you have the playbook, and then you look for the partners. You train them, then they on their own go and scale. That's really what scalability is. Not government trying to do it by their own. Look for the partners, come up with the framework, look for the partners, and then they're all in different places. It becomes domino effect.
So let's look at the future now, Titi. Looking ahead, what innovations out there do you think will have the biggest impact on the future of STEM education in Nigeria? Just do a forecast.
Honestly, the biggest innovation that would make a difference is access to internet and devices. Take the access to the rural areas. The rest is history. Yeah, it's access. Just access.
Wow. So who are you talking to now in that respect? You're talking to those who are going to fund this, because I hear you talking about partnerships and all of that.
Okay, we are talking to everybody. You start with government, because I remember the majority of the people are in their pocket in the public sector. We talk to development organizations as well, because they can help, make things happen in terms of the funding. We talk to corporates as well, because a lot of corporates are doing a lot of things. Honestly, we wouldn't have gotten this far without a lot of corporate support. We also talk with people that are already doing things in the sector. Talk to schools as well, because let's be honest, everybody wants success. Do you get it? A school wants their children to be, my child was the one that invented this thing and is my student, and they'll be, just the way the foreign universities put, this person was their alumni and all that. So everybody wants success. So we need everyone, to partner with us on it. Don't work alone. That's my own. All this work alone that they do us. We need collaboration from all sectors, all areas.
Titilope Adewusi has been a guest on the program, Education Dialogue, this afternoon, and that's what we're going to call it a wrap this afternoon on Education Dialogue on 92.3 Inspiration FM. Education Dialogue is a production of Edugist with the mission of amplifying the education conversation in Nigeria, and is proudly sponsored by Skilled Integrated Services. Join us again, same time, same station next week for another interesting edition. You can visit www.edugist.org and follow on all social media handles at Edugist to join the conversation online. Titi, thank you so much for the insight you've brought. We appreciate you and hoping to see you again on this program very soon.
Okay, thank you very much, Captain Smart.
And don't forget what she has said. Don't walk alone. Collaborate. Have a good afternoon. Captain Smart is my name.
Okay.